Hello, everyone. I'm Kai Belton, and I want to welcome you to our virtual wellness and resiliency workshops. This event is being hosted by the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence and the Community Resilience Collaborative of Middlesex County. We've had to postpone this event due to the storm, and we've worked hard to get sessions recorded so we could finally make this happen. There have been so many unexpected stressors that we're all dealing with. And these workshops are designed to give you some tools to deal with these stressors and to learn some resilient strategies to enhance your life. I want to congratulate all of you for taking a break to fill your cup today. You deserve it. Our first presenter will be Rebecca Lemansky with Resiliency Pauses.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today. My name is Rebecca Lemansky, and I'm a macro social worker, which means that I work with communities and organizations on systems level changes. So I don't provide direct service to individuals. I really work in partnership with community members as part of change interventions. Currently, I am the director of Middletown Works, an economic initiative in Middletown. I'm also an adjunct professor at Southern in the College of Health and Human Services and the founder of the Community Resilience Collaborative of Middlesex County, a regional collaborative with a vision that all people will live, work, and play in resilient and trauma-informed communities. I'm really honored to be here with you today to share some practical tools to improve your health and well-being. If you can, grab a piece of paper or a couple pieces of paper and a pen. We'll need those for a couple of the activities. Before we start, I'd like to share a little bit about myself. Many of my childhood memories were of an angry household, tainted with conflict, addiction, and pain. I was always on high alert as a child, ready for the next shoe to drop, wondering if today my dad would come home drunk or my parents would argue. Worrying about how we would make ends meet because we don't have the money for that was heard over and over in my household. These experiences wired my brain to be hyper vigilant or in fight, flight, or freeze mode. Very rarely did I feel a feeling of safety, and I often felt like I couldn't relax. Many years later, I learned about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. This ACE study was originally done in 1998 by doctors Rob Anda and Vince Felitti and measured 10 types of childhood trauma, or ACEs. Each ACE counts as 1 point towards a person's total score. I have an ACE score of 4, and when I learned this, it freed me from thinking that there was something wrong with me. It taught me that childhood adversities can cause long-term health issues in adulthood. I finally understood why I struggled with certain things as an adult, like relationships being difficult for me and abusing alcohol to escape my pain being normal for me 20 years ago. In 2014 is when my journey took a turn and I began to do a lot of research on the science behind ACEs. And what I learned was that the fifth piece of that is research on resilience. This gave me so much hope, and I made it a priority to begin integrating resiliency building practices in my own life. This was a catalyst not only for my own healing journey, but also to share this aha moment with others and to find a way to bring awareness and healing at a collective and community level. In 2017, my vision of promoting community resilience took root, and the Community Resilience Collaborative of Middlesex County was established. Our mission is to identify, create, and support trauma resiliency focused education, awareness, and capacity building for families, groups, and organizations. As a community collaborative, the CRC recognizes that we do this work in a toxic white supremacist culture, one that does not value the health and well-being, especially the health and well-being of Black and Brown people. We can see this happening now with these two public health crises, COVID-19 and all of the racial disparities that come along with it, and racism and racial trauma as a public health crisis. Standing with the Black community and acknowledging this generational and ancestral trauma that they have endured for hundreds of years is critical to our work. Personally and professionally, I'm committed to my own self-work, continuing education, and the willingness to have difficult conversations that support the liberation and healing of our Black and Brown friends. I'd like to share this quote from a Healing in Action toolkit on the Black Lives Matter. It really encompasses a lot of the approach that we use with the CRC. And it says, healing justice is the work. Taking care of ourselves and each other is how we live more fully in our principles and values. So today I'm going to lead you through 3 skills from the community resiliency model. And this model really trains people to help themselves, but also to help others in their social network. It'll be a quick overview, some highlights, so we're not going to get too deep, but it'll help us reset and restabilize our systems. We're going to learn about tracking, resourcing, and grounding. So the first skill we'll talk about is tracking. And tracking really is just paying attention to what's happening inside of our bodies and reading our nervous system. I was never taught this, and so this is really, a new skill for me as well. And so it's just taking a moment to observe and bring awareness to what's happening on our inside. When we do this and we notice our sensations, this can help reset our nervous system. So how do we track? So let's take a moment, and I'm going to invite you to sit with yourself and tune into your body. Bring attention to your heart rate, your breathing rate, and your muscle tension or relaxation. Notice what is happening inside. Do you feel any sensations that are pleasant, maybe unpleasant, or neutral? And just notice. I'll invite you to take a nice deep breath and a nice deep breath out. As we shift into learning about resourcing. Resourcing really helps us to build a sense of internal strength and resiliency. Resources are just anything that can help us feel better or anything that does help us feel better. There's external resources like people, places, activities, animals. There's internal resources like personal characteristics like kindness, compassion, humor, or even body resources like strong legs, strong muscles, or our body's innate ability to heal itself. And then some people like to do imagined resources like superheroes or characters from books. So right now with your paper and pen, I'd like you just to jot down 1 resource that you have in your life and 2 details about it. And I'll give you a minute to do that. And as you're writing it down and you're reading it to yourself, just notice what is happening inside as you think about that resource. Notice any sensations that you're experiencing that are pleasant or neutral. Notice your breath, your heart rate, and your muscle tension or relaxation. And just jot down any pleasant sensations that you're feeling now. Sometimes, just as a note, talking about our resources make us feel uncomfortable, and that's okay and that's normal. When this happens, just gently shift yourself back into feeling the positive aspects of that resource. Next, we're going to talk about grounding. Grounding is a great exercise to do that can help us increase our energy, lower our stress, relieve muscle tension. Grounding is just really direct contact of the body or any part of the body with something that provides support in the present moment. It's necessary to be in the present moment to experience safety in our minds, bodies, and spirits. Grounding can be done through our hands, our feet, or our whole body. Just as a quick note, some children and adults who have experienced physical and emotional trauma may have difficulty with this skill of grounding. And if that's the case, you can shift back and begin with resourcing. And so I'm going to ask you now, I'm going to lead you through a brief grounding exercise, and I would like you just to find a nice comfortable position. Notice how your body is making contact with the surface and being supported by your chair, the sofa, the floor, the wall, and the ground. And as you bring attention to the places of support, notice again your breathing, your heart rate, and your muscle relaxation. Notice any places inside your body that feel more relaxed or more pleasant or even neutral. Next, just bring attention to your back, your lower body, your thighs, and your legs. And if you're sitting or standing, notice how your feet are resting on the floor and how the sensations that are calming or neutral within your body make you feel. And just take your time. If you become aware of anything uncomfortable or even painful, shift your attention to places that feel better, more comfortable, or neutral, and notice the change. And as a way to bring your practice of grounding to a close, slowly scan your body from head to toe, bringing attention to all the places inside that have changed in a more pleasant or neutral way since you started. And when you're ready, bring your attention back to the room or the space where you are. And lastly, to close out our practice today, we're going to end with a resiliency pause. And so I'm just going to invite you to grab a fresh piece of paper and your pen again and jot down the answers to these questions. You're going to think about what or who uplifts you, what or who gives you strength, and what or who helps you get through hard times. Oftentimes, survivors think that healing means they need to tell the story of their suffering. And although our stories are important, the story of the traumatic experience doesn't have to be retold or rehashed. We can take what's called resiliency pauses anytime we're feeling overwhelmed or anytime someone that we're working with becomes stuck or overwhelmed. And so just take a moment and write down the answers to these questions. You might even think about how you're feeling as you're writing these. You can notice your breathing. Maybe you notice yourself taking a nice deep breath. You might even notice your body feeling more pleasant or even just some neutral sensations. And so as we close out today, I'm going to ask you to take a nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. And we'll do that 2 more times. Take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out. And 1 more time. Take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out. And I just want to say thank you for joining me today, and just take these feelings and these practices with you on your day and your weeks ahead to help you when you're feeling stressed, when you might need a reset. These skills are easy, they're accessible, they're free, and they can help our nervous systems to calm down when we're feeling stressed. For those of you that want any more information, I put a couple of resources on the back. Some of my favorite resources, there's ACEs Connection, there's the Black Lives Matter Healing and Action Toolkit. There's an awesome website called Beam, which is healing for the Black community. There's the iChill app, which is all about the community resiliency model skills, and the Trauma Resource Institute, which is where we are taking our training for the community resiliency model. Lastly, if anyone wants more information on these trainings or how to learn more, please email us at resiliencymmovement@gmail.com, or you can visit our website at communityresilience.info.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for your thoughtful words. And now I'd like to introduce Mary Emmerling.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for some information on chill time. This project came about when the school nurses in Middletown participated in a Yukon study on the impact of anxiety on children in our schools. And we took some of the strategies and implemented them into a district-wide initiative for helping kids cope with their anxiety and stress every day. So the objectives of today's PowerPoint slide will be to provide you with a basic understanding of the impact of anxiety and stress on the body. There's a whole science behind this, so we can't get in great depth, but it'll be enough information for you to understand that it is not good to have anxiety or too much stress in our life. And then to strengthen our understanding of stress reducing practices and learning. In some cultures, coping skills and mental health awareness and practices are an everyday occurrence. And what we'd like to do is inject that into our Middletown public schools so that our kids at the earliest of age start in practicing and incorporating these into their healthcare regimens, just as they do brushing their teeth. And the offshoot of that is the teachers who are also working with our students get the benefit of these strategies too. And hopefully as adults can start to integrate those practices into their lives as well. So challenges, particularly now in light of the COVID-19, are many. We're facing social isolation, and some people have lost their jobs and their incomes have gone down. Others are working remotely or learning remotely and learning new technologies. Some are, just stressed out with not being able to get out and socialize the way they used to. So every day we're facing challenges. It's important for you to recognize what you have control over and what you don't have control over. So sometimes it's nice to take a little bit of inventory and find out what those things are that are stressing you to a level of toxicity, and then those other more normal stressors. So increasing technology such as Zoom, social media and electronics, along with the COVID-19 illness, homeschooling, all of that has changed our recreation and socialization and has brought on a whole new level of stress and anxiety. Of course, some stress is good. It propels us forward and it prompts us to do things like, looking both ways before we cross the street. There's a certain level of stress we have that gets out of a building when we hear a fire alarm, or meeting deadlines, or filling out that application for a job you want. Some stresses are positive and helpful and give us a good level of anxiety because they push us forward. Unhelpful anxiety makes us scared of things that really aren't dangerous at all. For instance, in children who are afraid that their parents won't be there when they come home, might not want to participate in a sleepover or participate in after-school activities. So those kinds of unhelpful anxieties take away from the good things in our lives. They prevent us from enjoying the little simple things in life, like interactions with other people and diving into something that you might not know very well, like a new hobby or something like that. That's unhelpful anxiety. And then toxic anxiety is that anxiety that's at a heightened level and it's nonstop. And we see these in our most vulnerable populations. And these are families who are struggling with food security or housing or transportation needs or loss of a job, or they're dealing from their own personal struggles as a child, and they bring along those worries and anxieties into their parenting every day, and they create a household that is chronically stressed and toxic. When stress and toxic anxiety enter into the body, it does really bad things to our health. It increases our heart rate and breathing. It makes us sweat. It might give us headaches and stomach aches. It makes us tense. It makes us turn towards unhealthy habits like smoking or substance use. It might turn us towards unhealthy dieting practices like overeating or not eating enough. Unhealthy stress and anxiety is not good for us mentally, physically, or spiritually. So finding strategies that become a part of our lifestyle is very important to keeping those toxic levels of stress and anxiety that impact us so negatively down. And when we are feeling an increased rate, we know what we can turn to bring our levels down. That's where CHILL came from. CHILL stands for Connected, Healthy, and Living, or Connected, Healthy, and Learning for our kids, Connected, Healthy, and Living for you guys. And what it does, what we hope to do is bring into the classroom a couple of moments each day, or in your living room when you're sitting there at the table, maybe just finished your reading the paper or whatever it is you do first thing in the morning, and taking just a couple of minutes each day, a few times a day if you can, just to kind of connect your mind and your body and to bring yourself to a level of calm, so that when you really need to exercise these tools because your stress levels are up, it's easy. Your body knows what to do. We have muscle memory and mind memory, and your body will know exactly what to do. As I said earlier, we want to bring these practices into our life just as we do showering and brushing our teeth. This could become as normal as those routines. So let's go ahead and practice. Go ahead and get comfortable in your seat. Put your feet flat on the floor, and your back should be nice and straight, shoulders squared off and dropped, very relaxed. Hands in your lap or on the table in front of you, whatever is comfortable for you. And go ahead and either drop your gaze to a point you can focus on in the room, or close your eyes, whatever you're comfortable doing. This first practice is going to be relaxation or deep breathing. And I'm going to just blend into the next practice and then the third practice, one right after another, so you can get a sampling of each. This first one is relaxation or deep breathing. So go ahead in your comfortable position. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill up your belly like it's a balloon. Nice and slow and deep, and then blow it out. Like you're blowing out candles on a birthday cake, or you're blowing off those little fuzzy things on a dandelion. Go ahead and do that. Another deep breath in. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, and blow it out. Breathe in. Fill up your belly. 4, 5. Blow it out. And go ahead and sit with that breath for a couple of more breaths. And as you're doing this, maybe note the temperature of the air coming in. 3, 4, 5, versus the temperature of the air you're blowing out. Connect your mind and your body. I'll give you a moment to take a couple more breaths. On the next breath in, go ahead and bite down on your jaw. Shut your eyes tightly. Maybe wrinkle up your forehead. Squeeze all the muscles of your face. This is called progressive muscle relaxation. Go ahead and tighten up all the muscles in your face. Hold for 3 seconds. 2, 3. Blow it out and relax. Now move down to your arms. Go ahead and squeeze your fists. Tighten up your arms. Pull your shoulders up to your ears. Tight, tight, tight. Hold. 2, 3. Blow it out. Relax. Now squeeze your buttocks. You might rise up off the chair a little bit. Squeeze your buttocks. Tighten your legs. Hold, hold, hold. Tight, tight, tight. 2, 3. Blow it out. 2, 3. Now go ahead and tense up. Press your feet down into the floor. Squeeze your calves, your thighs. Hold. 2, 3. Blow it out. Relax. Now tense up your whole body, head to toe. Tight, tight, tight. Tense, tense, tense. Hold. 2, 3. Now exhale and relax all those muscles. I hope you can feel the relaxation in your body now. Now just sit there with your breath. Remember filling your belly and blowing out those candles while I tell you a story. This is visualization or guided imagery. This story is called The Worry Balloons. Now that you're comfortable, go ahead and listen to what I'm telling you. I hope you're feeling good. And in your mind's eye, I want you to picture a balloon. Any color balloon you want. Breathe in. Fill up that balloon with your next breath. Breathe in. Fill up that balloon. Breathe out. Go ahead and tie that balloon off and just hold on to that. Next, I want you to imagine that you're floating on a big, white, huge, puffy cloud, almost as if it's your own personal hammock. This cloud is warm and it feels so comfortable around your body. And you're just kind of hanging out there, just floating along in the sky. Take a breath in. Breathe out. You feel really peaceful and cared for. Now I want you to take your balloon and whatever worry or stress or anxiety you might be feeling, go ahead and blow it into that balloon. Tie it off again and let that balloon go. And as you're on your big white puffy cloud, you can watch this balloon drift off into the sky, getting smaller and smaller and smaller as you hang out on your big white fluffy cloud, just chilling out. Breathing in, letting it go. You can feel yourself floating on the soft, wispy cloud, enjoying the gentle motion, watching your worry float away. Breathing in, breathing out. Now you can do this as many times as you need to. You can fill as many balloons as you need to with your worries or your stressors and just let them all go. Just watch them drift away. I'm going to leave you for a couple more breaths in and out, relaxed and calm. Another moment. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and bring your attention back to the presentation. I'll give you a moment to reconnect. I hope you're all feeling relaxed now and calm, and you've learned some new strategies for reducing your stress or anxiety. You can use these techniques, the breathing technique you can use while you're sitting at a stoplight, or you're on hold waiting for those pesky telephone people, or when you're really starting to feel stressed or anxious. And the progressive muscle relaxation, you could do that at work in just a couple of minutes. Do this for your mind and your body every day, and teach your kids, teach your parents. It's these are good practices that we need to get into our daily lives. Little by little, I'm convinced that we can build a culture where health and wellness and resilience are seamlessly integrated into our learning and living cultures. Thank you for joining me today. My name's Mary Emmerling. I'm a registered nurse with the City of Middletown Public and Parochial Schools. I hope you find this presentation helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you sometime again soon. Thank you.
Thank you much, Mary, for your presentation on the CHILL program. I think now the CHILL program would be great for adults and children, given what we have going on in the world. Now, next up was supposed to be Felicia Goodwine, but unfortunately, given the fact that we had to delay this for a number of weeks, unfortunately, Felicia was not able to join us today. But I will say on her behalf that she was going to talk about movement and dancing. And dancing is a great way to reduce stress. Movement is important, just like everything else. Movement and exercise and dance helps us to reduce our stress. So let's move on, and I'm pleased to present to you Allison Abramson.
Hi everybody, my name is Allison Abramson. I'm the Executive Director of Tri-Town Youth Services and a member of the Community Resilience Collaborative of Middlesex County. I'm so happy to be with you today. I've been practicing yoga and mindfulness for about 20 years, and I wanted to share 3 very simple practices with you today. These are practices that do not require any special props or memberships or outfits. You can access these anytime, anywhere. You can even bring them outside, as I am today. So the first practice that I want to share with you is called pranayama, which is breath control. And we're not going to get too complicated today. This is just an introductory video. But I invite you to find a comfortable seat and plant your feet firmly on the floor. You may place your hands on your belly. And I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Otherwise, you may simply lower your gaze down to your lap. And simply begin by noticing the movement of your breath inside of your body. Your breath is always there for you. So the tools of pranayama are always available to you. So simply notice the sensation of air moving through your nostrils. Perhaps it feels cool if you're in an air-conditioned room. You may notice the air feels warm as it leaves your body. You can begin to deepen your breath if that feels comfortable by breathing in and filling your lungs with air, and then filling your belly with air. Feeling your hands expand, and then release all of that air, hugging your hands in and exhaling from your chest and out of your mouth if it feels good to you. Perhaps you have noticed that your breathing sounds a bit like ocean waves. As you focus on each inhale and exhale, try to imagine ocean waves carrying all of your worries and concerns out to sea with each exhale. When you're ready, you can open your eyes or look up, and we're going to move into the second practice, asana, or movement. So continue to breathe and imagine your breath moving into the places in your body that are storing tension and stress. Very often, this presents as a tight jaw, a stiff neck, tight shoulders, an achy back, or tight hips. So we're going to take a few minutes to breathe into those tight places. Imagine them starting to loosen. Imagine your body starting to let go of the tension and stress. Begin some very simple chair yoga that you can do any time of day, in the middle of your workday, in the middle of your kitchen, wherever you are when you feel the stress beginning to build. These are some simple movements to help let it go. So we'll start with your hands on your lap and take a breath in and look up to the ceiling or to the sky. Breathing in and exhaling and folding forward. We call this cat-cow, and we'll do 4 more. Inhale, arching your back and looking up. Exhaling and folding forward. Inhale. Exhale. And 1 more. Very good. We'll work on the necks a little bit more with some assisted neck stretch. So reach your right arm up and gently drape it over your head, and allow your head to rest in the crook of your elbow or on your shoulder, and apply the tiniest bit of pressure against your ear to just assist. You don't want to hurt yourself, you don't want to push too hard, just enough to loosen your neck muscles here. Release, and we'll do the other side. Just a little bit of pressure. as you breathe deeply in and out. Wonderful. I'm going to introduce you to sun breaths now. Sun salutations are the way that yogis have been greeting the day for thousands of years. So wonderful practice to start the morning. Again, you can use it anytime. So inhale and reach your arms up overhead. You can look up. If it feels comfortable, you can bring your hands together in prayer up overhead. But if that's too much pressure on your shoulders, simply raise your hands up parallel to one another. And exhale and lower your arms to the side. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale, release, and one more. Beautiful. We'll do that one more time, but adding in a twist on each exhale. So we'll inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, twist right. Inhale, exhale, twist left. One more time. Beautiful. We can work on the shoulders a little bit more, releasing some tension here. You can simply do some gentle head rolls. But we're also going to clasp your hands together in front of you and then turn your palms right side out. And raise your hands up overhead. If this is too much pressure on your shoulders, bend your elbows. But you want to feel a gentle stretch through the backs of the arms, even a little bit in your back. We're just going to lean to the right for 3 breaths. And now we'll lean to the left. Terrific. Bring your hands down. We start to loosen the hips a little bit. We can do that with very simple hip circles right in your chair. You can make them as big or as small as you're comfortable. A few times in each direction. And to continue to stretch the hips, I'm going to raise your right knee and cross over your ankle, over your knee. And for some, this may feel like a deep enough stretch. So don't hold it too long. You don't want to hurt yourself. But if you're able to go a little bit deeper, you can lean forward and really feel how much tension we hold in our hips. Breathe into that tightness and imagine it softening with each exhale. And now we'll switch sides, raising the knee, crossing over, and if you would like to deepen the stretch, lean forward. we began. Comfortably seated in our chairs, close your eyes or lower your gaze down to your lap and return to your breath. This final practice of meditation is the goal of yoga, to calm the mind and find peace inside of yourself. So be the witness of your own breath. Know that you are breathing in and know that you are breathing out. And when anything distracts you, thoughts creep into your mind, worries start to bubble up, gently acknowledge them and dismiss them and return to your breath and to this moment. Simply guide yourself back to your breath over and over, kindly and gently throughout your day. As we come to the close of our mini yoga practice, I invite you to bring your hands together in prayer. And if you're comfortable, you may bow your head to your heart. May these ancient practices support you right now and any time that you need them. Let these small acts of self-care have a ripple effect, supporting collective healing and evolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison, for your chair yoga. Not only is it important to stretch your body every day, but yoga greatly improves your ability to manage stress. Now we'd like to introduce Mary Deneen Elovich.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being you and for the work you do to make the world a kinder, more just, and loving place. Thank you so much for joining us today for this virtual wellness conference. My name is Mary Deneen Elovich. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in private practice at Intentions Counseling and Clinical Training Center in Farmington, Connecticut. So I'd like to begin with a quote by Maya Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So as we begin this virtual training today, I'd like to set an intention. We all need to be held. Each of us is worthy of a safe and loving holding environment. So my intention for the next 15 minutes is to create that holding environment for all of you who are working in the field of domestic violence, trauma, and neglect. Each and every one of us needs to be held throughout our entire lifespan. A holding environment is not just for the young. It is for each of us as we go through each and every day. Because when we feel safe enough to explore, we become curious. We become adventurous. We become empathic and competent. We become intentional. We become playful. We become present. We live in the moment of today. For today is truly the only moment that we have. So let's begin transforming vicarious trauma into resilience. Resilience is our northern star. It's what we seek to thrive. But vicarious trauma, if you are in the field for any amount of time, you will experience the impact of vicarious trauma. It is the transformation of the helper's inner experience. This is about what happens to our internal working models, to how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about others, due to the empathic engagement with survivor clients and their traumatic material. I'm a trauma therapist. I work in early childhood trauma and with the people, the adults that love these children. Every day, I am impacted by witnessing and being with people as they go through their traumatic experiences and healing with me. So it is so important that I commit to my own resiliency, to impacting my own resiliency. And so that's where we start today. And it's hard. Anyone who knows me, if any of you out there listening today know me, you know I like to play. And if we were in person, there would probably be beach balls flying throughout our training. So I like to look at it as play. The P, prioritize. We need to prioritize our relational wellness with self, then others. What would well look and feel like to yourself and to those who love you? That's an important question to ask yourself. The L is for loving limits. Boundaries are a function of self-love and self-respect. Boundaries are the way that we keep ourselves safe, emotional boundaries as well as our physical boundaries. The A in play for awareness. We as workers in this field pay so much attention to those we serve, to those we are helping. We watch their every emotional move and their physical move. We are aware of them. I'm asking you today to set a priority of being aware. Are you scanning your body throughout the day, scanning ourselves so that we can reflect on, I'm feeling a little anxious right now. I need to pay attention to that so I can choose my action and my reactions. And the why is say yes to you. Say yes to yourself. You are worthy. So prioritize your relational wellness, loving limits, becoming more aware, and saying yes to you. Self-compassion is action-oriented, and self-compassion is so important for those of us in the helping field. We cannot pour from an empty cup. We have to take care of ourselves first. And that is not an easy philosophy to live by. It's one that we have to commit to each and every day. So there's three different components to self-compassion: self-kindness versus self-judgment. The second component is common humanity versus isolation. And the third component of self-compassion is mindfulness versus over-identification. Dr. Kristen Neff is the PhD that is working in the field of self-compassion and has really coined the term self-compassion. It means acknowledging that we are imperfect human beings. I'm going to say it again. We are imperfect human beings doing the very best we can and trying to be kind to ourselves in the process. So let's think about this: self-kindness versus self-judgment. You are enough. You are enough. Embracing ourselves with kindness during difficult times by letting ourselves feel the pain. Feel the pain, allowing ourselves to feel what we are feeling with honesty and gently accepting, I am doing the best I can. So be your own best friend in deed and self-talk. When our negative self-talk starts, we can say, I'm not going to listen to you today. I am worthy of love, comfort, and understanding as I go through this feeling of fear, of anger, of rage, of doubt. Any feelings that we have are okay. We need to accept and go through them. The other thing is, I am an adult. I can begin to think about giving myself what I need. And this is hard. It is hard to ask for what we need, yet we must. So again, it's okay to feel worried, envious, insecure, lonely. Every single one of us feels shame and sadness and frustration. It doesn't make us weak. It makes us what we are. It makes us human. In Japan, there is a wonderful, wonderful philosophy. It's called kintsukuroi. Broken objects are often repaired with gold paint, and the flaw is seen as a unique piece of the object's history, which adds to its beauty. Life is difficult. Life, as Buddha will tell us, life is suffering. When we feel broken, when we feel wounded, think of that pain. Think of what we may view as a flaw. Think of our own healing as adding gold, a golden texture to our life. The most profound thing we have to offer to our children and to all of the people who love us and who come in daily contact with us is our very own healing. And so we look at this circle and we see there's so many different things here. Our mental health, this is our circle, our interests, our exercise, our spiritual feelings. Has our work challenged some of those? Are we feeling a little bit sick, but we're going to work all the time? Are we taking time to fulfill our interests? Are we reaching out for our social connections? Are we playing? Have you played today? Wherever you are as a worker in this field, as a healer, wherever you are, that's where you need to be. And it also doesn't exclude you from moving forward and saying, maybe I do need to play more. I'd like to commit to that. I want to add that as a priority into my circle. Maybe I want to exercise more. Maybe I need to have more social connections, call my friends. When we are in this field, we can feel isolated. So, what small change could each of us do that would help to make the rest of our life better? How could we do that? What small thing? Because small changes, baby steps we need to take, because we want to be gentle with ourselves. So, asking for a hug, going home today, asking for a hug. We know a hug releases neurotransmitters and the hormone oxytocin, which reduces the reactivity in our amygdalas, our fear alarm. We need human touch. Find human touch. Also, remembering to take the time to slow down, to breathe, to be mindful of where we are, to just be, not worrying about 5 minutes ago, not worrying about what's happening in the next 5 minutes, but being here with our breath, with ourselves. Mindfulness is not some extraordinary skill. It is simply being aware of now, of what is happening around us now. What are we hearing? What are we feeling? What are we seeing? What are we touching? What is the internal state that is happening for us now? And here I have my little frog. He's doing diddly squat. When was the last time you just enjoyed, just laid there doing nothing? You are worthy of doing nothing. So I would like to end today's talk with another quote from Maya Angelou that I like to think of. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for the work that you do and for the hope that you have in making this world a kinder, more just, and loving place to live for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary, for that wonderful presentation. I think it's so important for us as people in the helping profession to understand how other people's trauma can impact us. Now, I'd like to introduce Kai Belton.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kai Belton, Clinical Director for Safe Connect at CCADV, and I am also a member of Community Resilience Collaborative of Middlesex County. I will be talking with you all today about racial trauma experienced by Black people during the pandemic, as well as strategies to cope during challenging times. For many people working in the midst of a global pandemic, life has been very challenging. There are people who are safely working from home and navigating this new world of online meetings, homeschooling their children, or there are essential workers who are out in the field and having to figure out childcare and worry about COVID-19 or passing it to loved ones. It's a very unique and stressful time for most people. But today, I'm going to be talking about Black people specifically and how they are being affected during this pandemic. Over the last few months, Black people have not only watched their friends and family members die at a higher rate from the coronavirus, but they've watched people who look like them be gunned down while jogging, killed in their homes, threatened while bird watching. And then there was the moment of watching someone's life slowly leave them while they were being choked. The protests born out of these injustices have been hard to watch as well. People are being seriously hurt all over the country. Police brutality, racism, and coronavirus have all hit the Black community at once, and it's creating a traumatizing experience. Black people and other people of color share common social and economic factors already in place before the pandemic hit, and this increased their risk for COVID-19. These are things like living in crowded housing conditions, working in essential fields, inconsistent access to healthcare, chronic health conditions like diabetes, obesity, and hypertension, and we can't forget stress. And studies have proved that stress has a physiological effect on the body's ability to defend itself against disease, of course, making Black people very vulnerable. Stress also has a significant impact on mental health. And with multiple stressors faced by Black people, especially during this time, it has made them more vulnerable to mental health conditions as well. Even though Black people are vulnerable to mental health distress, in many cases, they don't seek support. This stems from a lack of resources, access to quality care, and mistrust in the system. Lack of treatment results in worsening of symptoms, which also impacts physical health. And when Black people are open to seeking treatment, they should be seeking someone who is racially aware and knowledgeable about racial trauma. Racial trauma is a result of experiencing and witnessing racial stressors, including racism, discrimination, and violence against people of color. And these acts of racism create an unsafe and vulnerable environment where people of color feel uncomfortable, like they don't belong in their own skin. It's difficult to understand this without actually experiencing it. This type of trauma seriously impacts Black lives. ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, are potentially traumatic events that occur in childhood, as well as the conditions of a child's environment that can undermine their sense of safety and stability. And racial trauma, discrimination, stigma, historical trauma is one expanding area of research that is being considered for an enhanced ACE measure. Experiences of Black people and other people of color have a significant impact on their environment and how they navigate through the world. The death of George Floyd, Black man who died after Minneapolis cop kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes, really affected many people around the world from all different backgrounds. This incident is not new to Black people, and it's been happening forever. But watching it does something to your soul, and it's completely overwhelming. So to allies, your Black colleagues, family, and friends may seem okay, but they may not be. The chances of them losing a family member to COVID is high. They may have watched the Amy Cooper video or Ahmaud Arbery or the countless beautiful pictures of Breonna Taylor, and it's traumatizing. Black people don't look at this and say, that could be me or that could be my son. It is them. It is their son. It is their daughter. The fear of your children or your husband or your wife leaving the home has always been there, but now it's exacerbated. So trust me when I say that beyond the Zoom call where you see a smiling face, there can be deep pain that sometimes feels unbearable. Black people are used to hiding their pain so that others don't feel uncomfortable, or sometimes they think, what is the point of even expressing how I feel? So for allies who are participating in this event, check on your friends, your family, and your coworkers, and ask how they're doing and how you can help. This is a very unique time in our history, and with all that's happening, coping strategies are essential. Some ways that you can cope with racial trauma are to connect with your friends, have conversations, talk about how you're feeling, and just be with them. Engage in prayer, mindfulness, spiritual practices, whatever that is for you, and whatever brings peace to your mind, body, and soul. Practice self-care. Do things that you love and that make you feel good. Also, rest when you need to. Sometimes things can be just too much. So try to recognize when that is and just take a break. Speaking of giving yourself a break, it's okay to do that. We don't know what to do because we've never done this before. These are difficult waters to navigate, so give yourself some grace. And for allies, understand that Black people are going through a lot. So show them empathy and tell your friends that you stand with them. And even if you can't fully understand what they're going through, you can ask them how you can support them. Allow the anger, and the sadness. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed, I know. And we're not often afforded the luxury of showing sadness. But it is okay to not be okay. And to allies, show up for your Black friend, coworker, or family member by doing your own work and reflecting on your white privilege, and determine what you can do to be better and do better. Engage in activism. Protesting isn't for everyone, but you can call local officials, vote, participate in peaceful demonstrations, and use your voice in ways that are comfortable for you. And allies, we need your voice too. So speak up for Black people and for yourself. You want to live in a world where all people feel like human beings. Turn off the news and social media. Seeing police brutality over and over causes a primary response to trauma. We relate to the people being hurt and to the people who are being killed. They are us. But reliving it over and over is very unhealthy. And to allies, this can be unhealthy for you too. But it can also be used as a tool to point out that racism does exist. Also, seek support and let go of that narrative that Black people don't need mental health treatment. It's very important to our survival. And there are many therapists available to help you get through this difficult time. And for allies, the emotional toll is heavy for you as well. And not only are you empathizing with the pain of Black people who are in your social circle, but you may be feeling a certain level of guilt or anger. So it's important for everyone to receive some kind of professional support if they feel like they need it. Black people have endured a lot in this country. We've endured bondage, had our livelihoods destroyed, and fought our way out of a segregated society. Clearly, we are resilient. There are so many wonderful and positive things about us. With all the negativity that our minds are consuming about who we are, we have to remind ourselves how beautiful we are. So repeat after me and speak these affirmations from your heart, out of your mouth, and let the words seep into your ears and permeate throughout your mind, body, and soul. I am enough. I am worthy. My Black is beautiful. I matter. Black lives matter. These affirmations can help you to challenge and overcome self-sabotaging and negative thoughts. When you repeat them often and believe in them, you can start to make positive changes. And for our last few minutes, we're going to do a quick mindfulness body scan to tune into your body and help you relax. So let's begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or you can keep them open. Notice your body seated wherever you are, feeling the weight of your body on the chair or on the floor. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight and the pressure, vibration and heat. You can notice your legs against the chair, the pressure, pulsing, heaviness, lightness. Notice your back against the chair. Bring your attention to your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Take a deep breath in. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensation in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Soften your jaw and let your face and facial muscles be soft. Now notice your whole body present. Take one more deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and say, I matter.
Thank you so much, Kai, for bringing the cultural and racial aspect to our Wellness and Resiliency Conference today. As we all know, it is so important in our work to make sure that we are culturally responsive in the approach that we take when working with individuals. Now let's move on and hear from Linnea Selim.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining with me today. My name is Linnea Salem, and I'm here to present with you Write and Relieve, which is going to be a workshop on writing and journaling, the ultimate stress reliever. I'm a resident here in Middletown. I'm a teaching artist, poet, author of My Heart is Art, and I'm a speaker. It's important to remember that domestic violence was a global pandemic long before the COVID-19 outbreak, said Carolyn Bettinger Lopez, the Council Foreign Relations expert. Some statistics about domestic violence. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men in the USA will be a victim of domestic violence. According to the Childhood Domestic Violence Association, 5 million kids witness domestic violence a year. Between 21 to 60% of victims of intimate partner violence lose their jobs stemming from abuse. Women between the ages of 18 to 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. What are the effects? Abuse in later life has a devastating impact on victims and can result in the loss of independence, security, life savings, health, dignity, and can be deadly. Psychological harms associated with abuse in later life include depression, stress, helplessness, alienation, guilt, shame, fear, and anxiety. How to cope indoors. Help. What do we do when you're screaming for a way out? Stop, breathe, write, and relieve. So what are some benefits of writing? Having up to 20 quiet minutes every day for your mindful writing will help ease your anxiety, calm down your thoughts and emotions, and bring peace to your mind. Writing reduces stress as it helps individuals process their thoughts and emotions. Writing is therapeutic, and it helps individuals deal with the things they cannot disclose to other people. It helps people think critically and review a situation in a different light. Writing can help you cope with stress, anger, and depression. There are two types of writing styles. First, expressive. Expressive writing is best used for coping with trauma, unexpected life events, domestic violence, outward expression in many art forms such as poetry, music, storytelling, and journaling. This helps deal with stress, anxiety, depression, traumatic experiences, and expression of one's feelings. The second type of writing style is reflective. Reflective writing is best used for self-evaluation, oneness, connection to self, and discovery of oneself. This one helps us deal with self-reflection, understanding of oneself and others, also inward emotion, and coping. There are 3 effective writing tools. These 3 effective writing tools are going to help lower our stress levels, lower blood pressure, lower your heart rate, reduce muscle tension, improve your memory, and improve your focus. These 3 styles are journaling, bulleting and listing, note-taking, and post-it notes. Journaling. This is one of your most in-depth forms of writing. It's a creative writing style, flow of self-expression. This allows you to tap into your past, present, and future. It's a coping mechanism for relaxation and stress, for reducing your thoughts. This one you can do in a manageable time. It'll help you build your short and long-term memory. Some examples of this include notebooks, your dream journals, art, drawing portfolios, and storytelling. Bulleting and listing. Bulleting and listing. This one here is a reflective writing style. This one's going to help you with organization and focus. It's quick and it's easy. Manageable stress. Helps you keep yourself on track with your goals and your tasks. Also helps you improve your short-term memory. This is an example of your bill organizer, your daily task planner, appointments, or just your daily planner. Note-taking and post-it notes. Note-taking and post-it notes is one of my favorite. It's an expressive or reflective way to write. You can jot down your reminders, jot down quick tips, your affirmations, less words, it's quick thoughts, and you can even doodle on paper if you'd like. On the post-it note, I say it's the power of the post-it note. Why? Because it's something that you could just leave on your refrigerator or on your mirror and self-reflect. They're one-line phrases, one-word affirmations, they're quick notes, quick reminders. You can jot down your appointment times, and hey, you could even put on your last reminders for your kids' duties. With all of these forms of writing, you've got your journaling, you've got your bulleting and your listing, and you've got your post-it notes. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Don't forget to write down one word on a post-it note tonight and read it to yourself before you go to sleep. Enjoy. If you'd like to find out more information about any of the above, you can search here in the references at thinkwritten.com/writing styles, thriveglobal.com, theconversation.com, cfr.org, or peacefulfamilies.org. Thank you so much for watching that presentation with me, everyone. So just to show you here my personal collection of my journals, one of my favorite journals here is an Inspire journal. This journal allows me to doodle, it allows me to write, it allows me to write down any of my music, any lyrics, any thoughts that come to my mind. It's quick, it's easy, it's fast, it's fun. Something like this, Story of My Life, this is a whole book. This is something that I'm going to go in, I'm going to take my time on. This is something that I want to really get creative with and really kind of just tap into my past, my present, my future, and just get as much as myself into my creative writing. Moving on to bulleting and lists. If you look here, I've got little tiny journals here like Life List for Women. These are great because these are things that you just literally list off to yourself. It's my self-care journal. It's my little self-care way of writing tabs and just keeping myself organized and focused. Other great things that'll keep you organized and focused are home finance and bill organizer journals. These are great because sometimes we lose focus and sometimes we get caught up with everything in life that we forget that a bill is due, and something like that can keep us on track. Last but not least, my favorite, Post-it notes. This is something that you could put on your mirror, you could put on your refrigerator. It's quick, it's easy. They're one words, they're self-affirmations. So these are awesome, you guys. So yeah, if you have a moment, if you have a chance, just grab yourself a piece of paper, write something very simple, something to yourself that you can look at and keep in your back pocket. And then you'll be able to look at that right before bed tonight and just say it to yourself. It'll make you feel good. So that's all we got for you today. That is my way of staying resilient through these tough times. And I wish you all the best of luck. And just remember to stop, breathe, write, and relieve.
Thank you so much, Linnea, for the information on journaling and keeping yourself organized. I don't know about you, but if I didn't carry around a small notebook with me at all times, I wouldn't remember what to do on any given day. So to close out today's conference, it's my pleasure to introduce Deborah Brandon.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deborah Brandon from the Connecticut Department of Public Health, and I've had the assistance of a student, Sarah, from Sacred Heart University, who has helped me with the research for this mindful eating presentation. Today, I want to focus on 3 goals. We'll be looking at how to define and understand mindful eating, how to identify mindless eating and its effects, and also I'll want to explore some mindful eating strategies. Let's take a look at how these two go together. The original developer and leader of the mindfulness-based stress reduction program is at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. Research has shown it can be used to reduce stress and anxiety and improve cognition, sleep, and also improve chronic pain. Mindful eating focuses on looking at behaviors linked to eating. It focuses on eating when your body or stomach tells you when you are hungry, and being able to stop when you are full, which is actually the definition of satiety. Satiety is knowing when you're full. Mindful eating is where one tunes into their 5 senses, including sight, taste, sounds, and smells of food. All this is done while being fully present and eating slowly. Mindful eating has been proven to have a number of healthy, beneficial health outcomes as well. When we talk about mindful eating includes being aware, observing, and savoring your food while being in the moment, and also being non-judgmental. Research shows its health benefits include combating obesity and unhealthy weight through managing unhealthy eating and weight-related behaviors like binge eating and emotional eating. Mindful eating can also raise your awareness of hunger and satiety and assist in making decisions, conscious food choices. And this illustration can be found on eatmindfully.com. It's by Dr. Susan Albers. During mindful eating, a person is encouraged to follow internal bodily clues rather than their outside triggers, such as stress or emotional eating, and importantly, to stop eating when full. Not following these cues and not paying attention in the moment, you'll find yourself maybe consuming more than what you're supposed to be or should be, and eating while distracted by watching TV or scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or finishing your work email. All of this is called mindless eating. This is such an interesting study here. Our ability to monitor what we eat can help reduce discrepancies between how much we eat and how much we believe we eat. It can reduce episodes of overeating and binge eating, as well as underestimating the amount of calories we consume. And what has happened with this slide here is showing a result of a research study completed at Cornell University entitled Mindless Eating. It's subtitled The 200 Daily Food Decisions We Overlook. And what it found was that people made an average of 226 food and beverage related decisions per day. But when they were asked to estimate how many decisions they made, only 14, and those who were obese made an average of 100 decisions per day than those who were simply overweight. So it showed that we're mindlessly eating, we're unconscious of what we're eating, and we're making very many more decisions than we think we are. I want to look at how to start eating mindfully. And this is based on a journal article published in the Diabetes Spectrum within the U.S. National Library of Medicine and NIH. First, what they looked at, they want to kind of tune you in and ask you, before you reach for something, automatically stop and take a moment to notice what you're feeling and what you might want to fill up on. They ask you to kind of ask yourself, are you stressed? Are you bored, angry, or sad? Are you lonely, or are you actually physically hungry? And physical hunger is a biological feeling that you get. You actually feel it. So they want you to be mindful of your reactivity and make a choice instead. Next, be intentional. If your desire is not about hunger, do something else more appropriate for the desire. Eat intentionally and only eat. Put away all other distractions. It's so easy to get distracted. Try to experience the food with all your 5 senses. Again, taste, touch, sight, hearing, and smell. And a lot of times you say, well, what do you hear? What food do you hear? Well, you can hear popcorn, that's obvious. But when you're eating an apple, you can hear yourself chewing the apple and biting the apple. So tune into your senses. Also consider what it took to bring the food to you. Be aware, develop an appreciation from where the food came from. It didn't just appear on your plate, and that sounds so simple, but creating, just kind of being aware and being grateful for your food. Also, savor each bite, noticing all the nuances. So often we just consume our meals so quickly without even, do we really taste it? Without noticing that we've finished. And so just savor each bite. And remember, after each bite, check in with your body to see how you're feeling. Have you had enough? Do you need more? Is it time to stop? Then move on to whatever you have chosen to do next. It is stated that it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for the brain to even recognize that you're full, which is why it helps to eat slowly. Next, here's an interesting illustration. And what I want to point out is that mostly everyone has heard of distracted driving, but distracted eating is risky as well. So let's put down your phone, set up a place at a table, put away your work, turn off the TV, and sit down to eat your meal to reduce overeating and continue eating later on. Sometimes when we're standing, that's a distraction as well. You tend to overeat. Many people tend to overeat while they're standing. But if you sit down with your food, it can help curb that. As mentioned before, mindful eating has been proven by previous research to be effective in the treatment of various eating disorders, including binge eating, and in the goal of weight management. With this study, participants practicing mindful eating have shown a reduction in overall calorie consumption, but there are some gaps, and future research areas are immense. In a 2019 article published in the Journal of Medical Internet Research, it sought to fill one of those gaps by reviewing current mindful eating applications available on the iOS App Store. It was for general purposes, but what they found was that 86% of the participants lacked in mindful eating specific content, such as guided examples. And one of those guided examples is tuning into your 5 senses. Again, touch, smell, tasting, etc. Overall, most apps received a weak summary score based on their criteria and found the weakest area to be the quality of information that truly exemplified mindful eating. Although the current applications are failing to meet effective criteria, this may be an area that many may want to focus on for future benefits or reaching a larger audience. So again, mindful eating. Put away the distractions. Get off of social media. Try to avoid large portions. Portion sizes are important. And just enjoy your food. To use just in everyday living, and strategies are not to be done quickly overnight. Just take a few goals, work on those goals, try small changes, little at a time, and hopefully mindful eating will become second nature to you. Thank you all.
Thank you all for participating in our virtual wellness and resiliency workshops. We hope that you enjoyed the sessions and found new ways to help in your wellness journey. I want to leave you with this quote today. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Take care of yourselves.